It seems like we're back. My chat isn't, I think we're good now. I think YouTube is back as well. That was weird. Don't know what happened there. Hey, okay. I can see you guys now. That was weird. Let me refresh my dashboard. Did it like, what happened? Did it show like the blue screen and everything? The not the blue screen, but you know what I'm talking about. You know which screen I'm talking about. Okay, so how do I see references to this player HUD now? Now that I found the player HUD. This outer private game instance, which I don't know. I don't really know what I'm looking out for here. What am I looking for? How do I see if this is still in memory? It gave us an ad? Oh my god. Oh, pizza. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. The on-screen Twitch chat isn't refreshing? Let me refresh cache. It should work now. I don't know what happened. My internet must have died for like a second. Or 5 seconds. Wait, is it there? Wait, it's not working. Why is everything broken? All of my shit is broken. Outer is the thing keeping it in memory, by the way. It should not be the game instance. Interesting. Interesting. So that is a red flag. The outer of the player HUD should be either player controller or the HUD. The actual HUD object, right? Which is owned by the player controller. Interesting, interesting. So this, I think the problem is here. Why is it that the game instance is retaining it then? Or why is the outer game instance? Very funny, very interesting. Hmm. Okay. So then maybe that's the problem. The game instance holding the player reference, holding the widget reference. Can I somehow figure out if that's how that's being done? Like if that's actually the path, like if that's the reference path that's going on? How would I figure out if that's the reference path? Is the game instance creating any widgets? Let's find out. I can't, hold on. How do I don't want to continue because then I lose this. And this could be handy. Can I save this? It should technically only be the HUD, but maybe I'm doing something weird. Okay, let me take a screenshot of this. Here, we'll just open that up and we'll just have that just in case. Okay, so from here, we're going to want to freeze the breakpoints and then resume. Actually, we're just going to close this out. Okay, so let's find references of widget blueprint player HUD and see if it's in the game instance. This is the only spot we should be creating that widget. Right here is in the player HUD. What did that screenshot show? It showed main game instance. Okay, so it was showing specifically the game instance. Let's see, HUD. The only reference we have to the HUD is get player HUD. Yeah, it could be 2 layers deep on depth. Let's see. If we go back here, player HUD, let's do reference viewer, let's do depth limit. Player character and game instance. Could it be that? I don't know. But the only spots we directly call a reference to player HUD is this, right here. That's it. We have loading screen in here. And we have the end chapter screen. Maybe those are keeping a reference somehow. Like we have the player controller here as well. I don't know if it's a false positive or not. But that being said, it being the outer, I don't know. Wait, hold on, let's look back at the player HUD. How am I spawning the thing again? We said it to get owning player controller, right? Yeah. Isn't this literally the outer right here? What is the constructor doing, man? What is this fucker doing? What is he doing? Let's see. You could add a breakpoint on the blueprint node, then add a breakpoint or enable it on the create widget function in C++ and see what's happening next. Yeah, that could be a good idea. Add a breakpoint here. I think the thing is, shit. Where is the create widget function actually? I actually don't know where create. I guess construct. I guess native construct. Oh shit. The fuck? Why are there so many of these? Oh, here it is. Create widget. This is gonna do things on everything though. Actually no, I don't think we want to do a breakpoint on this. Does the breakpoint occur before it actually creates it, or because then at that point maybe I'd want to do it on the event begin play. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Let's take a look then, shall we? Okay, so we do that. Then here we attach. The parameter is incorrect. What do you mean the parameter is incorrect, motherfucker? What do you mean the parameter is incorrect? Is it because we have a breakpoint? I think it's because we're already in a breakpoint. So now let's try to attach. It's still incorrect. Hmm? Oh, we already have an instance of it right here. Okay, interesting. It sounds good, y'all. Thanks for the help so far. Turn that back on. And then resume. And then this one gets hit. And then the owning object is the player controller. Is the main menu just a rendered screenshot or another scene? The main menu is an actual level, so it's an actual level. Player owner is the player controller. The HUD is owned by the player controller. So why is the outer why is the outer the oh god, fucking scrolling through a bunch of shit to find where the outer is again. Come on, man, come on. You gotta be somewhere, right? That's the owning object. We can look at this, which is the HUD. Then we can look at the HUD. Outer private persistent level. That's the blueprint player HUD. Where's the widget blueprint? Where's the widget blueprint? Do I have to continue this? Do I have to step into? Or step over? Okay, where's the widget blueprint? Because I'm pretty sure I called it widget blueprint. Pretty certain I called it widget blueprint. Yes, widget blueprint player HUD. Outermost? It's possible. Who knows? Oh shit, we're getting the wrong user widget class now. I think this is... I think we boofed it. Yeah, and there's that weird button issue again. Man, I wish I could just see the memory from here, like right here. Bluetooth. Easy ways to breakpoint the creation widget. Right, which is what we're kind of trying to do. So here when I hit continue, breakpoint, turn breakpoints back on. Continue, then we have the breakpoint of widget blueprint player HUD. I swear, where would outer be? I don't do this often. I feel like I'm going through like the same list over and over again. Aha! Outer private... Wait. Doesn't make sense. The outer of widget blueprint is widget blueprint. Huh? What? Do inside of the widget itself thing check call stack. Let's do that. That's a good idea. Good idea. Stat slate. Let's go to the player HUD. Remove that breakpoint. Is it? No. I don't think the HUD custom reconstruct is causing an issue here. Okay, let's do that. So now we hit play. I might want to set a C++ breakpoint, but let's just try it out. So we hit continue, we go through the construct. Let's turn on breakpoints again, see if maybe we can... Yeah, now we're getting other stuff. So where would we want to put the breakpoint for that? I have to refactor that as well, dude. All of the vocal UIs, we have them spawned by default as a widget component on every single enemy. I think we should refactor that. We should clean that up. That, I think, is a big no. Big oopsie whoopsie. Yeah, we need to do... Where would I put this? Probably in the user widget. Instead of adding the breakpoint there, maybe we want to do... on construct. Let's go ahead and ignore that, resume. Wait, hold on. I didn't mute it, did I? Well, apparently, I guess I did somehow. Call the construct. Don't mute. Continue. Okay, maybe the ordering is incorrect because this is getting called. Maybe I can call it on. Hold on, let's do it here. Add a breakpoint on the actual creation. Mute it, continue, blah, blah, blah. You know, melon. Okay, so here we have that. Unmute this. Continue. Is construct not the spot we want to add a breakpoint for this? Here's the problem. Okay, let's say I do fix this. Or let's say I do figure out, oh, hey, the creating the widget is creating it on the game instance or something. Is it because you're adding it on the header instead of source? Maybe, maybe. Oh, I think the actual node is native construct. That's the actual one. Okay, so let's hit play, continue, then we go in here, do that, then go in here. Continue, then we got the thing. Perfect shot combo, error use of undeclared identifier owning object. Hold on. Someday we'll get to the widget, the actual HUD. Hold on, hold on. You can delete that? Ah, okay. Weird. How did I learn coding? I didn't. That's the beauty. I don't know. You just make a bunch of shit until it somehow works. It's kind of annoying that we literally called the construct in the right spot. And I guess it's creating everything within the HUD right now until we actually get to the... That doesn't make any sense, though. Aha! Okay, now we're in... Change the breakpoint to a conditional? Can you do that? Ah, you can. Very cool. Well, we found it though, so... But that is cool. That is good to know. So... Hold on, we need to go to outer private game instance. Huh. I don't know if that's I can't tell if that's like misdirection or if this is like on the call stack, click the add to screen. This is this is territory I don't fully understand yet. Yeah, I don't know. It does say game instance in here though. Which like everything technically is owned by, I suppose, the game instance in theory. But I feel like this should show, like we don't see any mention of the BP player HUD in here. Or the player controller at that as well. In the call stack, there's a create widget. Variables are not available. That doesn't help. Oh, right, it is blueprint side. This is territory I don't know. Yeah, this at least there are some mentions of the player HUD in certain places. Maybe Google will help me. No danger. It was a lot of struggling. A lot of struggling. Still a lot of struggling. Looking for some thoughts. If you want to check it out, I appreciate it. If you want feedback on it, Melon, sure. You can post it up. UE4 widget outer game instance. Man, I don't know. Player owner, player controller. Outer is the persistent level. But that's the player HUD. Outer is persistent level. Okay. That's not the widget blueprint. That's the blueprint. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I don't know why the outer would. I guess it kind of makes sense, but it also doesn't. The thing is, where do I even get started to change that? Because we changed this, the owning player. No, you can post links. 100%. How's the bug fixing going today? Good, I think. The only problem is that we changed this to be pooled, so that's working now. I think what we're discovering is that I think the player HUD is not being marked for destroy. So we got the player HUD here, but then once we go to the main menu, we see it get grayed out. I would assume this should technically be removed, right? Or does this just, like, I don't know. Wish you could page up, page down. That'd be kind of nice. Now, that being said, I don't think garbage collection technically runs in a I don't think garbage collection runs in editor, so maybe we can try. I don't know if running it as a standalone game does actually run garbage collection. Not sure. Did I read game development in school, college, university? Nah. Oh, can you manually run garbage collection in the editor? Okay, hold on. We did standalone instead. We can see if does anything different. You said object GC? Collecting garbage and resetting garbage collection timer. Yeah, it's still there. I don't know if that's normal. I feel like it's not. You check if that destructor, that widget is being called. It gets called, at least in Blueprint, it gets called. At least in Blueprint, it is getting called. But yeah, pizza. I didn't go to school. Did not go to school. I don't know. I feel like it should remove itself from the list. At this point, I'd assume it's just an editor thing. It happens in-game as well, in a debug game build. And we can test it. I have the debug game build still. So we might as well give that fucker a try. If it wants to open. Game? Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's just warming up. It just took a second. Okay, so let's hit continue. We have the player HUD there. Let's go back to the main menu. The player HUD is still there. Then we can do, what's the command? Object GC. So we're running the garbage collection. But it's still there. It's just grayed out. It's not doing anything, but I have a feeling it's like still there. Let's see the main menu. If we go back into the game, does the main menu delete itself? Which YouTube channels do I follow for my project? Not subscribe. Which YouTubes do I follow for my project? What do you mean by that, Pizza? Like which channels I follow for like game development stuff, or? Yeah. I don't really know off the top of my head, to be honest. Game development channels, Prismatica. Probably a few others. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe this is a non-issue. Maybe we'll see how much better this feels after we did the whole pooling thing. We'll see if that helps. I don't know. Morbid. What's next for Superhire after fixing bugs and stuff? Probably just trying to get mod support to feel good. Did some tests and stuff that I'm pretty confident it's not leaking and the thing stays in the list. It's interesting. So it just stays in the list. UE5 though, can't say for sure for UE4. I would assume if it's the same behavior in the stat list, I'd probably safely say that I think it's fine. Now, the next optimization would be to stop using widget animations. That would be the next fix, the next improvement. And before it's stat list holding the reference, maybe you have to reset stat list. I don't know. That'd be crazy. But at least it's a start. Sounds like something you take to a new game instead. Yeah, maybe. maybe. But this is at least an improvement, at the very least. Or I think it is. I don't know. You know what I want to see? Let's do a test. If something keeps retaining the reference. You know what? This will be a good test. Where's my game instance? Where's tick? What? Oh, is there no tick in a game instance? Did you set a timer? Oh, right. There is no tick in a game instance, is there? Well, that fucking... test for HUD. We're going to do every 0.5 seconds. We're going to loop it. Here's the idea. We read from something called get player HUD, okay? You guys see where I'm going with this? Let's see if that timer works. So we go to main menu, hit play. It's gonna get nothing technically because there's no player character. Okay, C0. Then let's return to the main menu. I've got lots of errors for my settings. I can see I use the same backend plugin stuff as well as you. Forgotten where I need to go to configure their initial values. It depends which values you're configuring. If it's like a custom variable that you've made, it would be under something called like a register CVAR setting. But if it's something like max FPS and stuff like that, I think you would configure that differently. But I call these all from like initialize, and then I register all of the CVARs. But if you're doing any custom any ones, or not custom as in like UE related ones, that would be under probably default game user settings. Oh, the new ones? New ones would, yeah, you would create them. The default would be under wherever you registered it. So wherever you registered it. That being said, I think it creates a custom file called settings. I think it's literally just called settings. And the variables are in there as well. Yeah, let's change this test for HUD. Let's just I don't think that'll fucking work. I don't think get player HUD's gonna work there. But I did see that it becomes C_1. I did see that it becomes C_1. Now I think that's just regular ass Unreal shit, but let's do another test. Let's do, maybe we can try this. Oh, interesting. You can't test for widgets. You retire any and all HUD/widgets in the player controllers to prevent this. Right, the thing is the player HUD, we add it on the player HUD. So maybe player HUD is a piece of shit. Maybe maybe this thing's just a big piece of dookie. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a little dookie. Maybe it's just, maybe this thing's just a piece of shit. Maybe instead I should add the player HUD. I should just create it on the player controller and not even bother with this fucking player HUD thing. I've avoided the HUD class before, always gave me the creeps. What do you mean it gave you the creeps? What do you mean? I don't know, dude. I feel like I feel like we just destroy the HUD. Ah, get all widgets of class. Interesting. I don't know if that'll be valid, but 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Main menu 0, 0, 0. Continue 1, 1. Oh, okay. That doesn't really help us. What about what if we remove top level only? Let's see 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, doesn't really. Don't think that's gonna help us. 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This shit ain't doing shit, man. It ain't doing shit. I don't know what the problem is. This don't make any sense. I don't understand. It's talking to you in binary. Can someone translate 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0? Can someone translate that, please? What is it telling me to do? Maybe add to viewport's the problem. Maybe, you know what? What do? You just add to screen. Okay, well, that doesn't fucking... Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Maybe we want to use add to player screen rather than add to viewport. I've always used add to viewport. Move on. Is that what it says? Move on. Okay. Well, I don't know, dude. I don't know. This is out of my scope because I'm a fucking idiot. Now, that being said, we did do some optimizations. We can do more. We can do more, but it's a start. It's a start. It is a start. So, I feel a little better. It seems like we're not ticking the score until we actually need it. So add score removes itself from the tick when we don't need it. So guys, it removes itself from the stat screen. Maybe it actually does remove itself from the stat screen. Thank you, pizza. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need all the luck I can get with this shit. The base score is still ticking. Not an issue. Kind of an issue, but not an issue. I actually don't know why it's still ticking. It technically shouldn't anymore, but... that's fine. All right, well, we've already made some optimizations. We can make more. Don't get me wrong, we can make more, but it's a start, I think. Ideally, so then the question is, do we still get that huge lag spike of built-up UI if you play the game without a HUD and then you suddenly show the HUD again? Let's test that. I think because we only have a pool of like 8 widgets. That it's not like occurring anymore. Look, like there's only 8 widgets visible at once. So I think we're good. I think that also resolved that issue. Okay. Fix hiding HUD and then showing it after some game causing a lag spike due to the built-up UI events waiting until visible. Okay, cool. What's the animations look like, by the way, that you want to replace with shader magic? So it's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated because this anim actually changes the actual layout of the canvas panel. And that's what allows us to do that smooth movement when we add a new thing in onto the vertical slot. Because we are physically changing the transform scale or the translation of this thing. So then that way we can smoothly move this into place. Now, don't ask why it's upside down. It's very complicated. It's mostly just some side movement and fade in, fade out. But the fact that the layout changes... does make things a little complicated. And I don't think we can just rely on a I don't know if I can just rely on GPU animations for this. So I don't know. I might just say fuck it. Just leave it as it is. Might just leave it as it is for now. Or now. Or now. For now. Not easily, maybe? No, it definitely wouldn't be easy. I would have to fake the offset of the layout. I'd have to somehow fake it. And it would still probably end up being an animation at that point. Or at least it would be an animation for 0.5 seconds and then the rest would just be a GPU animation. But... screw it, whatever. Unless I can somehow modify the layout from a material. Which I don't know if I can. I don't think I can, because that's GPU side and all that other stuff is probably CPU side. So... yeah. Fade in is a bit tricky. I can figure out the fade in. That's not a problem. You use the timestamp, and then you can use time, and then you could probably figure out a way of fading it out over a period of time. You could just attach a timestamp to the score whenever you want it to fade in and fade out. So that's not a problem. Just modifying layout would probably be an impossible well, not an impossible task. Nothing's impossible, but you know, it would probably be an absolute asshole to figure out. Anyways, got a couple other things I'm going to fix. I'm going to do this off stream. I'm going to fix this bug here. This I'll say is optimized, I think. This I'd like to fix. And maybe this if I can as well. How do you communicate that to the material without ticking? It would have to be on startup. The only thing we'd have to do is every single one of those would have to be encompassed with a, it'd have to be encompassed by probably a dynamic material instance. Either that or this is encompassed by a retainer box or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, a retainer box. Yeah. I don't think there's any real like winning here. So honestly, whatever. Widget animation, let's go. Pog. Let's just keep the widget animation. We'll just keep the fuck it, man. Whatever. All right, I'm gonna head out though because I'm hungry and I haven't seen the outside in a while. So I think I should probably touch some grass. Haven't done that in a hot minute. So yeah. 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 Anyways, I'm gonna go. A little bit of optimizing, good stuff. Hopefully people's FPS improves as they play the game more and they don't have to keep restarting the game. Or at least if they have to restart the game, at least they don't have to restart every 30 minutes. Because some people have to restart every 30 minutes. So hopefully they only have to restart it after maybe 3 hours. I would prefer 3 hours than 30 minutes. You know what I mean? For a memory leak or memory issues, whatever. So hopefully this is an improvement. As a noob, this is the best I can do for now. All right. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, everybody. Thanks for lurking, chatting, and sticking around. I'll see you guys. What day is it today? See you guys tomorrow, Thursday. Hell yeah. All right. Take it easy. Goodbye.